Welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia. This is the Race for 8 Professional Handball Tour brought to you by E4 Designs, the Ron Cook Memorial Handball Tournament here at this facility today, Dave, where the men's finals are about to get underway. But what happened yesterday? That's what everybody wants to know. Let's go to Kara Mack, and she has all the details from yesterday's action.
The Ron Cook Peachtree Open here at the Recreation ATL in Atlanta, Georgia. The Race for 8. And Saturday, always the race to the finals. The first to battle, Emmett Pashot and Killian Carroll. The #1 Carroll not letting Pashot slow him down, at least not enough to stop him. Yes, Emmett gives Killian a push.
Nice little pickup there. Did he get that?
He did.
But in the end, the top pro wins in 2, 15-8, 15-7. Then Luis Cordova and David Fink took over the show court. Luis takes game 1, 15-11, but game 2, and Fink gets fierce to force a tiebreaker, 15-7. This match long, a grueling almost 2 hours, both leaving it all out there. But it's Luis that pulls away at the end of the tiebreaker to take it, 15-11. Third quarterfinal, Sean Lenning and 45-year-old Marco Chavez, and it's a monumental one. Marco steals game 1, 15-11.
Oh.
But then, in a blink, he takes game 2, 15-3, setting a record as the oldest player to make the semifinals in a Race for 8 stop.
This is going to be a very difficult record to ever break. 45 years old in the semifinals.
It's amazing.
Man, I almost feel like crying. I mean, it's not easy, it's just the semis, but the training and the running with my wife and her like pushing me, letting me play.
And the last quarterfinal, Vic Perez and Daniel Cordova. These two bouting it out with long rallies and powerful shots.
Vic looks a little fatigued right now.
Yeah.
How can you blame him? This is just outstanding ball.
What a shot.
Game 1 and game 2 close, but Cordova takes them both, 15-13, 15-10. Now for the semifinals and the anticipated Luis Cordova and Killian Carroll matchup. Just after a tough quarterfinal, Luis shows no weakness, focusing on kills, making the shots count.
This is unbelievable.
And they start adding up.
Set up.
What a great way to close that one out for Lucho.
Winning game 1. Then game 2 has his eye on the prize, defending this Peachtree Open title, and he rolls. Killian gathering a string of solid Killian-esque kills.
Wow.
But Luis winds up and puts it away in 2, 15-9, 15-11.
There it is. Wow.
Who will be on the other side? Either his brother Daniel or Marco Chavez. Daniel comes out pounding, knowing he wants that Atlanta Cordova brother final rematch.
Here's somebody that wants to go to the finals.
Marco's pulling some great shots, working him, but in 2, Daniel puts himself in the final, 15-6, 15-8.
And here it is, Dave. We're going to see an all Cordova final once again in Atlanta, Georgia. Some good action right there. Great recap from yesterday here at Rec Atlanta. We have the men's finals on ESPN3 and the Watch ESPN app. After the players both played, Kara Mack was able to sit down. Once we found out who the finalists were going to be, and she had a chance to talk to both of the brothers. Here's Kara.
How's tonight going to happen? Since tonight, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Probably the same as the last time. You know, everybody's going to the banquet. You know, it should be fun at Rick Buffkin's house. Yeah. But me and Daniel will probably be kind of calm. You know, maybe 1 or 2 beers. But
that's what we said last time. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be pretending to drink a beer, but really I'll have an electrolyte, drink right next to me and sipping on that. That's what he said last time. I remember.
He's not even making eye contact with you.
No, he's scared. That's how when someone's scared they kind of look down. That's what's going on right now. That's okay.
He won last year. What are you going to bring tomorrow in order to beat your brother?
It's my best. Both of us are trying to play our best. I feel like it's a coin toss when we play. So I don't know. It's up in the air. If I can, serve well and keep my game like what I'm good at and stop playing what he's good at, it's going to be, I don't know. I don't like playing him because we wear each other out till, we can't even get up anymore. So it'll be interesting.
And I'm pretty sure that Luis heard that coin toss comment and is like, no, this is not a coin toss.
heck no. It's like a 75-25.
It's interesting to watch that. Daniel kind of dominated that little interview as Luis just sat back and kind of quietly Yeah, and Luis is, we know both of them. Luis is the one that's kind of got the attitude that he would step in and be the one to talk and kind of throw some trash. But he just sat back as kind of the elder statesman there.
Well, he put the finishing touches on that. Even though Daniel spoke 95% of the time, he ended it with the 75-25. That was the message.
That's all he needed to say.
Right.
Well, we're going to find out who is going to win this one. This is our Pro Stop number 1 on the Race for 8 season, number 9 with the World Players of Handball here on ESPN3. It's Daniel Cordova going up against Luis Cordova. There's a lot of kind of cool things that are happening with this. Daniel lives here locally. Luis was a local here in Atlanta. This is their home club. Luis has now moved to El Paso, Texas. This is his first time back in a while, and he's going up against his brother once again at their home club. It's kind of an interesting dynamic. We have Sean Lenning doing the finals as the referee, which is just absolutely amazing. And so we're going to catch him as he is going to make that announcement.
15.
Daniel Cordova gets the first serve. Best 2 out of 3 to 15. Breaker is also 15, and you have to win by 2. Here's that first serve. And you heard in that package there that Daniel said that he needs to locate that serve, and he did not do a good job on serve number 1. That was probably the worst serve. Wow. Overhand tomahawk.
0-0. Short.
I haven't seen Luis hit that shot in the entire tournament. He comes out on the first point of the match and crushes one. Terrible shot from Daniel.
1-0.
Oh, sorry.
Lucho a little bit flat-footed there. Daniel finds the right corner.
And Dave, we're going to welcome into the booth Martin Mulkerns, current 2-time world finalist, national finalist, as he gets in the booth and will assist you here during this men's final.
One zero. Short. Second.
Thanks for joining us here, Martin, after a nice 9th place performance this morning.
Thank you.
You've played both these guys.
Yeah, I suppose I have a long rivalry, I suppose you could call it, with Daniel through our collegiate years. I think it maybe stand corrected on it, but I wouldn't imagine that 2 players played each other 4 years in a row for a collegiate men's open championship. And then I suppose our most recent game was this year's U.S. Nationals.
2-0.
So.
And he also played Lucho's. Lucho serves into the ground. That's the first time we've seen that in the tournament.
Yeah, strange. I think if we saw it back, I think he actually stumbled. He was mid-swing. I think his feet maybe just caught each other, stumbled on it. But the problem is, you get punished then, and Daniel has a point.
Right. Potentially a big momentum swing, because Luis looked good to start this match. A tomahawk kill on the first rally.
Killian. Didn't see it. Was that a horrible call? It was? Take 2. Take 2. 1-2.
Sean Lenning refereeing. Very good friends with both these guys.
Yeah, I think
Sean
I think it's good. He's not one of those guys who'll rush into a decision, jump into it. You know, he's I think playing on the pro tour since he's 16 years of age. I don't think there's many players in the history that would be qualifying and winning at 16.
2-2.
You probably know. You could name out a few, maybe Dave Chapman, Sean Lenning.
Short.
I don't know when you started breaking into it. But
I was 17.
So he has a lot of handball scene.
Consecutive Z-serve aces,
3-2.
untouched by Lucho.
Well, the thing about this ball, I suppose anyone probably watching from Ireland or even with a 21, I think if you connect well with it, this particular ball straightens out, can really slide along the back wall, whereas I think with a 21 or the
Hold
Irish
it.
ball, it will always nearly check out a little bit, and you'll get some bit of a swing on it.
That's Ari Lee Cordova. That's Luis Cordova's lovely wife. They have 2 young boys, great kids. I'm sure watching now, Luis Mateo and Lawan,
3-2.
back in Juarez. Ari Lee is a very talented singer, Martin. She competed in an international competition. She was flown to Miami for that in the summer.
I thought that was a hop and a new ball. I didn't see it.
I actually agree with Sean. You
Yeah.
see, when the ball
4-2.
bursts, I think what's tended to happen this weekend,
I did not see a slide there at all.
Second.
I think it seemed to straighten out a bit there. With those new balls, when they're just cracked out of the tin, I think you probably really need to spend a good minute. It probably needs to be hit 20 or 30 times
Right.
because there is a bit of a shine on it
5-2.
at the beginning, and when you can see some of those serves and they look like a slide, but they're not. So I think I came in at 2-0 to Luis, and it's five consecutive points for Daniel.
Well, since Luis served into the ground,
5-2.
he hasn't scored, and Daniel scored 5 points. We call that the drop of water in the booth. Just that little unsettling shot or thing that can happen.
2-5.
Sometimes it can be something as simple as someone
Short.
snapping a picture
Second.
in the gallery. Anything that kind of unnerves you.
That wasn't a great serve from Luis.
Well, Luis looks a little stiff to me right now. He doesn't look like he's moving as well as he was yesterday, but he had a couple of very hard matches yesterday.
I was sitting here with Dave commentating on your game with Luis, and I honestly thought, I think I might have mentioned it at some stage, that it didn't really matter who won because they were going to get I wasn't saying destroyed, but it was always going to be with a 2 or 2.5 hour turnaround when you play a match for an hour and 45 minutes. We were actually just speaking about the actual calorie and energy burned in a game
4-5.
like what you played was probably, somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 calories, and actually to regain that energy and try perform again, not to mention the stiffness in the joints, 2.5 hours later.
Yeah.
But, it just seemed then that Luis found it somewhere.
I don't know how he
pulled
does
out
it.
the performance, but you know and I know when you cool down and it's the next day and you push your shoulder blades back, you feel all those shots, and I think Daniel definitely should have a bit more in the tank.
Right. Daniel is the only player in this event so far that has not lost a game. And now Daniel with a simple error.
But that's amazing. 4 quick points for Luis there
6-5.
since we said it was 5-2.
Right. Now these two played in the finals here last year of this tournament. That's the first time we've seen any brothers play in a Race for 8 final. They also played in the semifinals of the Tucson Race Light Stop. Daniel won that in 2 games. That was last season. Before that, they'd never played in a main draw. They'd always played in playoff matches. That was going to be a good shot.
Is that a good block, or?
I don't know how you should never get hit on a ball like that.
It's a revolving door. I don't.
You have plenty of time to get out of the way. You should not be getting hit by that shot.
So what's his play there? He's supposed to back up against that right side wall, get out of the way entirely?
Well, I think if you're going to play that way, his tendency is to go to the right corner, so you have to give him that shot.
6-6.
I don't think this is the shot here. You see that open stance and a lot of reverse.
Very difficult shot, actually, to bring that straight down that right wall, especially with the way his feet were planted.
Right.
I think for anyone who's just tuning in, maybe who hasn't seen all the games all weekend,
7-6.
Dave, from playing at such a high level of handball and tennis, I'm not sure how the format works in tennis at tournaments, but you know, we started here on Friday with a round of 16. Some
Yeah.
of us had qualifier games. Then obviously, if you won and you get to the quarter-final, you're playing that
Right.
the next morning,
Very
followed by a
difficult.
semi-final 3 hours later.
9-6.
Very
Considering the
difficult.
quarter-final was almost 2 hours, and then a final today. So I'm not sure. I can't really say I know any other sport that actually expects players to do what handball players
No,
do.
there isn't one.
I don't know, is that a
In tennis, you
compliment to
would,
handball or
6-9.
not? But
there would never be
Short.
2 matches in a day unless there was a severe weather delay, and that happens maybe once a year because most of the big tournaments have a roof.
so these guys have probably been on court, maybe, well, definitely Luis, since Friday afternoon, has probably played, if you include his
7-9.
warm-ups and everything, somewhere around 5 hours, 5 to 6 hours,
Yeah.
in less than 48 hours, I suppose, of top level.
Right. But then again, one tennis match in a Grand Slam is 5 hours. But there's something to
There's a lot
playing
more breaks
and
though,
then
in it.
playing again 2 hours later
Side out.
after you've cooled down and then trying to restart.
9-7.
I think the intensity of handball just,
9-7.
I'm not saying it's not there in tennis, but I think there seems to be a lot more breaks or time between even
Short.
serves.
25 seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
compared to 10
Mhm.
or less.
Yeah.
Like there hasn't been 10 seconds there.
No.
Seven, 9.
This game moving along pretty quickly, Martin. We're not seeing a lot of long rallies or a lot of side outs. We're seeing a lot of
Daniel seems to be in control. He seems to be moving, as you said, a lot freer.
I was worried about Daniel, and he's been so limber this whole
9-7.
tournament, like he always is. It's intimidating to watch. And Martin, I love watching you play, but completely different style than Daniel. You just have so much power. You're able to set your feet seemingly for every shot. He just
10-7.
seems like he's a rubber band. He can twist and he can adjust his feet so quickly and hit the
Second.
ball on the run with hop. But I was worried about Daniel as we see this second serve. It's been effective for him, this Z serve. That time it was defended well. Daniel injured his shoulder at the 3-Well Nationals about 4 weeks ago. He ran into the left side wall with his left shoulder and
11-7.
strained his AC joint. And Daniel didn't want to talk about it, but I was worried about him and didn't have high expectations for him in this tournament because of that. He hadn't played. His shoulder still, he said, is not
12-7.
right, although he's not using it as an excuse at all.
Well, he seems to be, I have to say, yesterday I thought he was very impressive on
Second.
the serve. We see a
Yeah.
crack serve there just to make the 12th point off the right side wall. And I think he's serving better here. He's also killing better. He's dictating the pace. He's even that shot, you know, he just seems kind of effortless here, where Luis seems to be laboring a bit.
Yeah. How do you describe someone like Daniel Martin, who you played him at the Nationals and just kind of went right through him, and then, you know, the very next tournament he looks unbeatable? Is that unique to him, or is that something that happens at the top of the game?
I think he seems to be playing better here today. I still thought Niall O'Connor competed well.
Yeah.
I thought Niall had a chance in that game.
I thought Niall was going to
actually-
win that game based on Daniel's preparation and injury.
13-7.
And I think he still had a chance. I think in the following game against Vic, now you have to give credit to Daniel. He put Vic under pressure, definitely
Right.
super serves.
Yeah.
But I didn't think Vic, now maybe it's a bit of bias, but I thought when I played him the day before, his serves obviously were exceptional. I don't think that's kind of freakish to get maybe 40%
14
his serves.
Right.
But I thought as well when he got opportunities, he was taking the kills. And I didn't think he did that against Daniel. You know, when he had setups, he didn't take them. And he still wasn't too far away. And I think it was always, to be fair, going to be difficult for Marcos to win it.
Wow, what a get. Game point here, Martin. And Daniel's got Luis all over the court here. and doesn't shoot that. Almost.
Sean, their referee, letting play go there, even though
I
it's
think
a bit
that's
tight.
a good move.
They wanted it. Ooh.
It almost seemed like Luis didn't want to win that rally. He was ready for this game to be over.
7-14.
Who knows, though, from here?
I suppose just coming back to that other point, though, I think in a tournament like this, it's such an advantage to kind of have maybe a
8-14, first time
semi-final that, you know, where you just get through it 2 straight and you're not in there for that long. You want to minimize the court time when you get there, and I think Daniel has definitely done less time on the court.
Daniel Cordova.
8-14.
Yeah, it should have been over at 14-7. Daniel had a lot of good opportunities to win that rally. And that rally wore Daniel out a little bit, but
yeah, 2 quick points there.
Yeah, if things go his way
seconds.
here, he gets a side out and a point, he'll have plenty of time to recover and he'll get his win back.
It seemed like Luis started well early, 2-0, then Daniel, that skip into the floor.
Right.
10 seconds.
Then Daniel got that 5-2 lead, but Luis seemed to regain composure and brought it back to 6-6, but Daniel has really went on a massive run from there.
Right.
And there is exactly what you were talking about.
We saw Daniel in the finals last year in
14-8.
Portland and also in Tucson just look outstanding. Like he was just warmed up for the final.
Well, I see him standing on the left-hand side there, and there he finishes it out with a beautiful corner kill.
4 minutes.
But I think that serve that you're seeing there, he's done that very well over the years. Even in collegiate times, he would stand there and hop it either way. I think his serve has been exceptional this weekend.
Right now, we're going to go to Kara Mack, who is in the gallery with our tournament host, E4 president, Lance Wachholtz. Kara.
Watching this one, I know you can't cheer for either of them because they're both your boys.
No, I have to cheer for both of them, yeah, definitely.
I guess cheer for both, not cheer for either.
Correct,
That's
yes,
the way to put
absolutely,
that.
yeah.
So what are you witnessing this first one? I mean, you were here last year to see this all go down as well.
Well, it's same final as last year. This time, first game's a little different, but I think Daniel's he's just a little sharper across the board, doing a little sharper serving, a little sharper killing the ball, and Luis is going to have to pick it up in the second game to take it to a tiebreaker.
Give us a little bit of the behind the scenes, because I know that Luis doesn't live here in Atlanta anymore, but both these guys were practicing together, facing each other off right here in this court many times, not during these tournaments, of course, but just practicing, and you've witnessed it. What is that dynamic like?
Oh, they're so like dead even. They like play like every time they play, it's a tough match. Usually when they play in practice, they play for like $5 and they play just to keep it competitive. And they probably split 50-50 unless you talk to Luis. Luis wins like 75% of the time, but I think he's like, I don't think he quite tallies it up right, but they're dead even, and but it was tough losing Luis to go back to Texas, but we still have Danos here, so we're enjoy having him here, and it's always good to have Luis back there with his family. So.
I do love that. They say there's always a little bit of a wager when they play each other. Just that $5, but that's enough to. I wonder if it's the same $5. Do you know if they trade the same bill?
No, they pay up afterwards every time. They're like pretty serious about it, so it's good.
Different bills. It pays for lunch across the street, I'm sure.
Yes, yeah, we have a good Mexican place across the street that they like to eat at, so that's good.
How has this tournament been for you? What is it like to throw this thing? Is it a hard thing to do?
Oh, it's tough, but I love it, and I've got a lot of local guys that help financially, but really Danos and Kira, thanks to those two for helping put everything on, and Jason just does a fantastic fantastic job owning the club and just promoting the sport. And he doesn't play handball, but he loves the handball players and supports us strong and feeds us well.
Best scenario you could possibly have to have these two in the final?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and I did not expect it this time, but this home court advantage. They're doing a fantastic this tournament, and I think we'll probably see a tiebreaker today. We'll see.
Tiebreaker last year. Do you think there's $5 on the table?
They might have a little side bet here.
I wonder if it's more. I'll have to ask. Thank you, Lance.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, back to you.
Thanks, Kara.
It's the whole prize fund. It's winner takes all.
Yeah, that would be.
That'll get them going.
That will get the competitive juices going. Great to hear from Lance, who's our host here, the sponsor, and he probably knows more about sports than anybody. He goes to every game here in Atlanta. When the Super Bowl is here, he's there. He goes to the season tickets to the Braves and the
Yeah, he was very good to us during the week.
Are you staying with Lance here?
No, but he brought us to the Braves game during the week.
Okay.
He's been very good to me over the years as well.
And you guys played doubles together in this event, right? You and
We
Lance?
did. We played the open doubles yesterday.
Did you win that?
We pulled it out of the bag.
So you won that title?
We did.
Oh,
we did.
congratulations.
So,
Saw you in there. I think I saw you on that court yesterday for 7 straight hours. So you're talking about these guys playing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You played a qualifier Friday morning, then another match Friday, then at least 2 doubles matches yesterday, plus
the two
playoff matches yesterday, and then today. So you definitely have won the Ironman award. I know you didn't like my Mr. Ninth nickname for you. So Ironman? No?
It's a little bit of an upgrade.
Little upgrade.
Yeah, look, the 9th. We were saying it after the game there earlier. It's disappointing. I don't think anyone, yourself included, or the 2 guys we're looking at playing the final here, I think anyone is here. I see Killian in front of us, Niall O'Connor. Everyone that came here comes to win.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says.
Right.
It's about winning.
Mm-hmm.
And some people don't. Well, for me anyway, the taking part is, that's
0-0.
important and all that. But I think at this level, you want to win. I don't see there's 2 guys are watching here. It's about winning. It doesn't matter what anyone says, well done or good match. You won't care about that if you're on the losing end after it here. So,
1-0.
I came here hoping to be in this court, not sitting here, and just came up against a player who played better on the day, and as you say, got through it in the 9th place today. But that's not where you want. That's not where you want to be. So.
Now this is a strange play here. Luis looked like he just whiffed a back wall shot and immediately looked up to a referee, and I think he's asking for a bad bounce. I didn't see it.
1-0.
Daniel's not arguing. Now you heard Lance say that he expects a tiebreaker. Based on what I saw in the first game,
I don't.
I don't see a tiebreaker, but things do change. And it wasn't like Luis really got any momentum late in the game either. He just, after being up 2-0, was outscored 15-6.
Yeah, no, it was different in your game
2-0.
yesterday when you were playing against, I think it was against Luis.
Yeah.
I think you were 9-3 down, but you actually finished at 15-12.
Right.
And you carried that momentum into the second game. But as you say, from 6-6, Daniel won 15-8.
Yeah.
So he wins that 9-2 there in that second, if you look at it from there on.
Well, just looking at the body language and the shot selection
0-2.
right now from Luis, he looks like he's sore and fatigued to me. Because when you see guys going for kills too early in the rally or, not at the right time, that tells me that you're not feeling that great.
2-0.
Although an unusual miss there from Daniel, it's straight off the back wall.
Big setup here for Daniel. Now, I wouldn't say Daniel's necessarily a back wall kill artist, but that one he
0-2.
did connect. Not really a beautiful flat rollout, but good enough.
Short.
Luis is on his heels here, which to me makes me think he
Second.
thought Daniel was going to hit more of a pass there.
I was expecting Daniel to finish the rally there. It was a setup on his strong side.
Wow, that's an amazing shot. Now, what are you thinking when you see a shot like that, Martin? Because that's not a shot that
Something
is hit in
where actually-
Ireland.
It's not just
Right?
because you're here, but you actually hit quite a lot of those
Point.
shots and an amazing serve to follow it up there again. Reverse crack off the right wall.
That was
2-2.
incredible.
But that shoulder high kill is, this ball seems
Short.
to, it was short.
Heel.
Okay.
The-
We've only seen one video replay in this entire tournament, and the video
second
replay
serve.
actually overturned the call. So I'm surprised we don't see it more. Daniel must have known that it was short.
But in terms of that shoulder high kill, this ball seems to allow for that. It seems to stay down if it connects properly, whereas I think with maybe other ones you would be expecting, unless it's...
Well, I play a lot with
3-2.
all the balls, and I don't change my game for any of them.
It's a very difficult shot to execute, because if it's not executed properly, you're expecting it just with the trajectory of it to come back
Do we
up.
play those over here? The bad front wall? You want to play that again, Luis, in the future? Okay.
There are bad bounces off
Well,
the front
but it's a
wall.
funny-
I'm sure
on
you
the serve.
might have
it's-
encountered a few.
I don't think people can
3-2.
see it there maybe on the
No.
camera. Maybe you can just now, but it's if
Like
you look
divots.
closely, there is divots or hollows in it that sometimes it makes a different sound
Second.
even when it hits
Yeah,
it.
I saw a serve that was hit about 6 inches high, and it jumped up so high and came way off the back wall, which of course it would never do if
So I think
you hit a serve at that
referee
height.
seems to be asking, do the
Hold
players
it.
want that to be called? That was a setup for Luis.
Very
he
frustrating
seems to
there.
be. I think we've all been there where you
3-2.
Yes. I don't know. I see you flat roll those
Sure.
every time you get them, so I don't know if you've been there, but
Second.
it is frustrating when it happens.
great shot by Luis.
Yeah.
So something I just
2-3.
asked Dave yesterday, maybe you could bring us through what's the schedule between now and Christmas, just for anyone watching in terms of events, what's next?
2 weeks from now, actually about 12 days, Portland Classic Race Freight LTE. That's an official ranking event, half ranking points, and basically about half the prize money, roughly. So that's a
3-2.
big one, and there's a lot of talk amongst the guys here. They want to know who's going. You know, they say they want to know because they want to compete against the best guys, but maybe it's the other way. Maybe they don't want the best
4-2.
guys to be there, pick up some ranking points. But that's in Portland at the Multnomah Athletic Club, which
Do
you
it
know
again.
well.
I think we had a chance.
Ooh.
October 18th, that's a tough call. And then 2 weeks after that, it's the Memorial in Tucson.
4-2.
That
2
is-
weeks after the Memorial is the Race Freight, Women's Race Freight pre-qualifier in Austin, Texas with the Texas State Championships. And 4 weeks after that is the
5-2.
LAAC Race Freight pre-qualifier. So that takes
yeah,
you all
that
the way
brings
to the
up to the
holidays.
new year then, where there's a new
Yeah.
schedule.
And then kicks off
Second.
again in Montana with the race stop there in Missoula. I don't think you've been to that one, but that's a great stop.
So back to the action.
I'm glad though, Martin, that you asked me to bring that up.
But I think it's a credit to the WPH and everyone. There's lots of tournaments this year all around the country for people to enter, so it's a great opportunity for local players too to get in, get competing, and pick up some points. And of course, to see the top players come to their court, I think it's a great opportunity for clubs to advertise the game and hopefully get some
2-5.
crowds in, get some juniors in. That's what we're trying to do, promote the game as well.
2-5.
What inspires me as much as anything at this stop is seeing the Missouri State handball team driving 10 hours in a car. They're piled in
That was
there.
good.
These guys are 6'9", 6'7",
Skip Hills,
crammed into a car, driving
agree.
10 to 12 hours to be
Point.
here to
3-5.
participate. I mean, that's cool.
And I'm just looking
And
at
you're
Dan.
coming from Ireland, which
Sure.
is a, I don't know, 7-hour
Second.
flight.
At least.
Yeah.
I think it probably worked out a 20-hour trip, but
Okay.
I just see Daniel here, like you mentioned the Missouri State. I think Max Langmack, one of the other guys playing on the tour from Missouri State, will be coming here. Probably will be a new sparring partner for Daniel.
Oh, he's moving here.
Yeah, well, I think it's on the table.
Okay, because I heard there might be a pro coming to town, and I was trying to place that mystery name, and now you've done it for me. Daniel Cordova wins game number 1, 15-8.
4-5.
You can see he leads here by a slim margin.
Ooh, nice dig out by Luis. Paddles it in with the left. But it still seems, even though the game is so tight, that Luis is having to work so hard to make those points.
Short.
Nothing's coming easily.
Second.
going to that.
But wouldn't you say this is kind of like when you play what I would consider be your biggest rival, Dermot Nash? You know each other's games so well, and there's really nothing you can do to surprise one another. So you have these grueling rallies, hard to really score easy points.
It's, yeah, I think probably now, definitely 2 or 3 years ago, we definitely had games, or 4 years ago. I remember one U.S. Nationals in 2013. It went for 2 hours and 15 minutes. It was kind of like,
beautiful.
It didn't matter who won, because you were going to be so tired, and you had to play Paul anyway, which is going to be difficult. But
I do want to compliment you on your performance against Paul in your 3rd national final just a few months ago. You played, I know you were disappointed that you lost, but you played very well in that match, and the scores didn't reflect how competitive that game was. Daniel Cordova with an ace there ties the game at 6.
Well, I think this has been the difference for me all weekend. If he, you know, be it Vic Perez against me or what you're seeing, I think Daniel has consistently served the best in the matches. He's getting ace serves. I was just watching against Marcos there yesterday evening. I think you were commentating on it.
And that was a broken ball.
Incredible serves.
Okay.
Which Luis isn't getting. You know, when you're able to get ace serves like that, and you don't have to even play a rally, I think it gives you that extra kind of pep in your step as well. Your swing, you're like, you know, you start feeling it, and he just seems in control here to me.
Yeah. That dot you see next to Daniel Cordova indicates that Daniel won the first game. That dot is sponsored by Tucson Rolling Shutters. Jeff Helam, I know, is a good friend of yours, Martin, in Tucson. So we want to thank him for all of his support. And of course, Martin, you know that we're building the 3-wall courts in Tucson. Jeff is the co-project engineer and major donor of that project. So we want to thank Jeff for that. And that's a very exciting initiative. I know that, Martin, you've spearheaded a number of courts being built, one of them being in Uganda. Very exciting, and we're very excited about the 3-wall complex that's going to be completed in the next couple of months, as long as we continue fundraising for that project. But it's going to be really great once it's done.
No, there's a lot of great people out there, you know, that are great supporters of handball, supporting initiatives like that. The 3-wall is great, I think, because it's very visual. You know, people can just drive by or walk by, and they actually see the game happening. I think it used to be that way in Ireland with our old, you know, well, with our traditional game 60 by 30, where the older courts were all outdoor. You know, it was very visual. Then people would drive through a village or drive by or walk by, and you'd actually see people playing. You'd stop in, you know, maybe watch it. Whereas I think when it all moved indoor, you know, it's not as visual as it once was. But the 3-wall is brilliant that way.
There's a different energy about playing outside too. I don't know if you've been to an outdoor tournament. Can't remember if you've participated in any of them, but people act differently. There's just there's a enthusiasm and a vibe that comes from playing outside. More relaxed, more, I would say, fun.
Short again. He's appealing again.
That was just short.
I know he's hitting reverse.
I agree. Second serve.
What a great serve, though. Just comes up 2 inches short, but
Daniel pulling away again. 3 quick points, 9-6.
You know, there's really no serve that Luis is defending well right now. He's not even defending the Z serve well. He's given up a lot of points on not returning these Z serves, and also
I wouldn't write off a comeback here, but I just can't see it at the moment.
So you're not going to write off, but you can't see it. That sounds like hedging to me.
In terms of it's possible, but I just can't see it. I can't see it happening with what we're looking at. You know, there's actually not much in it. It's only 10-6. You know, if you were in a game, sometimes if you hadn't seen any of the play at 10-6, you're like, okay, if Luis could get in and get a point or two, there's nothing in it. But it just doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Even at 6-6, it felt like Daniel was in control.
Well, that's what we were saying. You know, it just looks like, as you say, I don't know, is it a little bit of, you know, Daniel's playing fantastic, maybe a bit of fatigue on Luis's part as well.
Point.
And there's an ace. That ball, when it's hit, you feel like it has to be short, and then it just climbs over the line. 2 straight aces. Now 3 points from this title, and this would be Daniel's 3rd Race for 8 title.
Revolving door there, not a great serve.
These two are tied with 2 race titles apiece. This will be the tiebreaker for now. I think we can expect to see them in a number of finals going forward.
Daniel has won how many
2.
of the main race stops?
Well, 1 main, 1 light. They do count, though, on the board.
13-6.
13-6 now.
He's beginning to run away with it a little bit here.
Yes.
Second.
This match is less than 45 minutes long so far.
Everything seems to be going in for Daniel.
Except that.
That's
That
the commentator's
was-
curse.
Yeah. That probably should have been a back
6-13.
wall shot.
Thought he might actually
Short.
look for a play over.
Second.
But he was trying to play aggressive there, and he saw Luis was pinned on that wall.
I mean, Lucho goes from beating Killian Carroll 15-9, 15-11, and now
13-6.
not even in double figures in either game here.
Short.
I think you have to acknowledge the toll the tournament takes on a player as well.
Well,
you
I'm
know,
just
and-
reporting the scores. I mean, I'm not.
Well, if you were
This
to
is
look at
very
them in that
objective.
isolation, then it would be surprising. But I think the court time he spent yesterday is definitely a
6-13.
factor here.
Daniel was someone I had penciled in for a first round loss based on his injury and lack of preparation, and here he is only giving up double digits in 2 games so far.
7-13.
Well, Daniel has a fantastic serve, which we've seen him do in this game. Plus, I think sometimes possibly if you're feeling like that, sometimes it takes all the pressure. It takes all the pressure off you. You know, you just start going for your shots. You loosen up. You don't
Right.
feel as tight.
Yeah.
And it's he's playing well. I've seen some good
13-7.
kills with that left. Even if he is in pain hitting them, he seems to be playing through it.
Great get. And look how where he puts that shot. Oh my gosh.
2 bounce.
Daniel with an open stance off balance. Crush kill that reverses, jumps away from Luis.
I think, will we see an ace serve to
14-7.
finish?
He's going to go for it.
Short.
He'll go back to the Z serve here.
Which is worked
This has
very
also
good.
been a very effective serve for him. Daniel's fly kill has not been effective here in these last 3 attempts.
But he's still playing aggressive, Dave. I
7-14.
think you're commenting on that incredible shot prior to that.
That serve was almost in the ground again.
Second.
Daniel is, as I say, his serve has been the difference for me, and he's killing better as well. But you know, both games it was around 6-6, and he's getting huge runs after that. That's footwork to me. You know, he seems out in his feet. Just it's not happening.
It's also some resignation when you're down 14-7, and you're telling yourself you want to win, but at the same time you're flat, disappointed. Normally,
Here's a chance.
Luis is so reliable with the right hand, but just not putting the ball down with his right hand today. Hitting everything a couple feet high. Nice dive there from Luis.
And there it is. So Daniel reverses last year's result. Didn't drop a game all tournament.
Standing ovation here for Daniel on his home court. Well deserved. Kara is with our winner, Daniel Cordova. What a performance.
Daniel, I have to hand this over to you. Your third one, but talk about what this one means to you.
Oh, this means a lot, especially it's my hometown. And, you know, the idea, you know, the mentality that I came into this tournament, not 100%, and it just, I don't know what happened. Maybe it took the pressure off, and I was able to, you know, loosen up and play smarter instead of harder. So they all mean a lot.
Smarter versus harder when it comes to your brother. I'm sure that had to be a lot of it.
Yeah, because we know each other's games. I said in an interview that Fink did that we know each other's shots so well that we can anticipate. We have that extra second to run for it. So we have to mid-swing switch our shot so I hit it to where he doesn't think. And that makes me miss because it's just my body's not used to it. So what I try to do is stick to my shot instead of trying to switch it mid-swing. And even if I know he's going to be there, just make it good enough for him not to get it. And he didn't play, his best. It's a coin toss always with me and him. It's whoever plays better that day. Whew.
A coin toss, though, but you kept him out of double digits, beat him in 2 games. Last year went to that tiebreaker. What was the deal breakers today? Were you just feeling really good this morning?
I don't know what it was. It's always something that you don't know until you show up, halfway through the first game. Like, okay, I'm feeling comfortable. My shots are falling in. I'm keeping him off balance. And he's not hitting the best shot, so I have time to, switch it or hit what I want. So it's something that you realize once you're in the court. You don't know beforehand. You're not like, I feel good, because you might feel great and then play really bad. So you never know.
What was the side bet?
What did we bet side? Probably pride. Now I'll be able to go to Thanksgiving and, be the number one.
Will that be in your hand, Thanksgiving?
Oh yeah, this is gonna come with me. I'm gonna put it next to my turkey and everything.
Next to the turkey, right there in the center of the table. No $5 though.
No, not this time. It was a little more on the line this time. We didn't have to put that extra.
Love it. Thank you, Daniel.
Thanks, Kara.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thanks.
Back to you guys.
Thank you, Kara. What an amazing performance there from Daniel Cordova. He doesn't give up double figures in his semifinal win or his finals win. That's about as dominant as you can possibly be. You're facing 2 or 3 of the best players in the tournament and holding them under 10 points. He outscored his semifinal and final opponents 2-1. 2-1 ratio. Pretty incredible at this level. He did the same thing when he won his first title in Portland when he beat Killian in the finals in 2 lopsided games, also beat Sean Lenning in the semifinals there. So when Daniel is feeling it, it seems like no one on the tour has an answer for it. And he picks up his 3rd title. He's starting to climb up the all-time list now because you've got Paul Brady with 15, Killian Carroll with 12, Sean Lenning with 7, Luis Moreno with 10, and then Daniel's probably in that top 8.
Well, it's been an interesting year, I suppose. I said earlier, having not been on it for 2 years, I really wasn't. I knew Killian was winning most of them. I wasn't really following it to a massive degree. Of course, you'd see who'd win, but I wasn't really tallying it up. But ever since this tournament last year, there seems to be a bit of a change in the. There hasn't been a dominant player, is probably fair to say, where you had Luis won this time last year, Daniel won, Sean won the next one in Tucson, Daniel won in Portland at Christmas time. I'm not sure who won in Montana, maybe Killian won again there. So you had 4 tournaments and probably 4 different winners,
right.
Last year, and it was, and then you have Killian ending the season with the win at the Players' Championship, and now you have Daniel winning again. So it kind of leaves things blown wide open, I suppose, going into Tucson, and it's hard to say who will win there. But I don't know what this is going to mean for rankings. Does Daniel move because points have been halved from last season? Does winning here...
No, points are not halved this season.
Oh, so it just replaces the
just
tournament
replaces it.
Okay.
So they swap the 8 and 10, and I know that our rankings statistician is working on those right now. I'm sure that he is. So we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah.
I think you would think. Well, Daniel's already ranked ahead of Luis, so he'll stay ranked ahead of
number
Luis.
2.
No, Sean is number 2.
Will this with having Sean losing so early? Now I know he lost around the same stage last year, maybe quarterfinal.
No, he lost in the semifinals here last year.
So he's actually going to lose points, and Daniel's going to gain.
You only count your best 6, so he might have thrown this one out anyway. Sean, that is.
I understand. Okay.
So we'll see how I've speculated before and been wrong every single time. I've congratulated people on making the top 8 when they weren't in the top 8. So I try to stay away from it. But Daniel's going to be in the top 3 at worst. Possibly could be number 2, but I would say likely he'll be number 3.
But regardless, you're going into the next tournament with, 4 different winners out of the 5 or 6 stops last year.
Right.
You have Daniel winning again here. It makes for a very interesting tournament in Tucson.
Yeah. Well, I had you winning this tournament, and unfortunately for you, it didn't happen. But you'll still be on the short list of favorites in the next tournament in Tucson, I think you're going to be more well prepared, maybe more relaxed coming into that first round. It seemed like you're a little bit anxious and maybe not playing quite your best in those opening rounds. But today is Danos' day. Tucson is going to be your time, I predict.
Well, we're hoping that it'll be
Who's
an
we?
improvement.
Who's
Huh?
we? Are you on a team?
The whole team, yeah.
Oh, there's a
there's
team.
a background team. The whole.
Oh, I
lot,
didn't know
you
about them.
Yeah.
So you're a we.
We takes it away
We.
from the I.
Is we kind of for the humble part of it? Is that kind of like, see, I'm not, I'm actually very humble. I'm talking about, I'm a team member. Is that how it works?
Well, I
Because I
suppose-
hear golfers talking about we had 150 yards to the green. We.
I'll have to change it to I.
No, I like we. I'm not, I love it. I mean, I just want to know who the we is. I mean,
Well, that's for me to know. There's the last shot of the game. People looking at it there. An uncharacteristic miss for Luis.
Martin, I want to thank you for sitting in here and enduring this with me. You do such a fantastic job behind the mic and on the court, and we really do look forward to seeing you in Tucson.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And we, of course, have our Wednesday game already planned, so I'll be looking forward to that. And we're going to welcome back in the big guy, Dave.
Yeah, I got to go courtside to watch a little bit of the action. Watch Cordova Part 2. This time it was a different ending.
Totally
To
different.
Part 2. You know, it's like watching a Bruce Willis film. You know it's going to be good. You just don't know how it's going to end.
Oh.
You know, there's Die Harder.
Uh-huh.
What you do know is
Which
that
one was this?
This one was just this is the revenge. The
Okay.
revenge of the Cordova brother.
Okay.
So it was interesting. It was a good.
But Daniel now climbing up the all-time leaderboard on all-time race freight wins with 3. That may not seem like a lot, but that puts him definitely in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the top 8?
Yeah,
We'll see.
Sure.
We'll crunch those numbers.
Well, it was fun to watch.
Okay.
But we're going to wrap it up here now. And
It's a shame.
they call me the closer, so I come in and help close it out. It was a great showing here in Atlanta. I want to thank Lance Walkholz, and I know you did that profusely when you were on the air, but E4 Design, putting everything together. Jason Chan here, the manager, the owner, he runs everything. It was absolutely remarkable. It was a great time, really. It was. And we enjoyed it. ESPN audiences did as well. The players loved it.
Well, it was great to be back in the saddle, you know, after
Yeah.
a few months. You know, it's nice to jump back in. I know we were rusty. That showed for me. But I still have some more events to improve.
Maybe.
That's true.
You might get the pink slip here.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
In your mind, if you think that you're going to
In
be
my
invited to
mind,
the next one,
I
then
have-
that's
If I don't see the pink slip, I have intentions on improving.
okay. Well, that ends that on a positive note. I want to thank everybody for tuning in on the opener of the Race for 8, season number 9. Chris Garrad, Linda Manning, Che Lowenstein, Kara Mack, Dave Fink, and those that helped out with the live broadcast. We had an Emmett Peixote sighting. We had Martin Mulkerns, Marco Chavez, those that helped come through to make sure that we can get on the air. Behind the scenes, we want to thank you, certainly. The board of directors with the World Players of Handball that have made this possible. Tucson Rolling Shutters. I want to thank them for helping with the dot that goes next to the name of the first game winner.
Right.
We're going to wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in to this amazing broadcast and a great Sunday final day here with the World Players of Handball on WPHLive.tv. For the worldwide leader in sports, my name is Dave Vincent. Thanks for tuning in to ESPN3 and the Watch ESPN app.